Her name was Gloria Swanson. In 1960, she was given 6 months to live. The cancer was spreading. Her doctors had done everything they could, and it was not enough. So she did what desperate people do. She crossed the border. In a clinic in Tijuana, Mexico, doctors gave her something called Laetrile, a compound pressed from apricot pits. Within weeks, her tumors began to shrink. Within months, she was completely cancer-free. She lived another 40 years. When word spread, thousands of American patients demanded the same treatment. The FDA responded by banning it. Doctors who prescribed it were arrested. Patients who used it were harassed. Gloria Swanson was lucky. Millions died waiting. Who decided they had to? Laetrile is not alone. For over 100 years, doctors and researchers discovered treatments, real treatments, with patients who recovered, only to be destroyed by the institutions meant to protect public health. Licenses were revoked. Research was buried. Patients were left to die. The pattern is clear. A cure is a one-time sale. A treatment is lifetime revenue. What you're about to see happen not once, not twice, but 10 times. The system responsible is still running. Number 1. Laetrile. In the spring of 1974, federal agents walked into a California medical office and arrested Dr. John Richardson in front of his patients. His crime, according to the court, was unprofessional conduct. What he had actually done was prescribe Laetrile to terminally ill cancer patients with no other options. He was convicted. His license was revoked. His practice was shut down. While he sat in prison, his patients lost the only treatment helping them. One was a 12-year-old girl named Amanda. She had been responding well. Without care, her cancer returned. She died 3 months after his arrest. Richardson served 30 months, was released broken, and never practiced again. He died in 2008. His crime was trying to save lives. Laetrile is a synthesized form of amygdalin, a compound found naturally in apricot pits, bitter almonds, and stone fruit seeds. It was first used as a cancer treatment in the 1920s. The theory: cancer cells contain an enzyme that breaks amygdalin into cyanide, killing the cell. Healthy cells contain a different enzyme that neutralizes it. Dr. Ernst T. Krebs Jr., a San Francisco biochemist, called it vitamin B17. The FDA called it a poison and banned it in 1971. After that, patients had one option: cross into Mexico. In 1978, the National Cancer Institute finally tested Laetrile. 178 patients were enrolled. Results were published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Conclusion: no meaningful benefit. But the trial had a critical flaw. Patients received Laetrile alone, without the dietary protocol and enzyme supplements that Krebs said were essential. It was like testing a car engine with no fuel, then declaring engines do not work. The NCI never intended a fair test. They built a failure, published it as science, and closed the door forever. Laetrile had one problem: it could not be patented. Apricot pits grow on trees. No company owns them. No one can charge $10,000 a month for them. Chemotherapy generates billions. Radiation generates billions. The system built around treating cancer, not curing it, is among the most profitable in history. Laetrile threatened that. It was cheap, natural, and unknowable. So agencies moved. Statements were issued. The compound that could not generate profit simply had to go. Laetrile is still banned in the United States for over 50 years now. It remains legal in Mexico. Every year, thousands of American cancer patients cross that border. People who exhausted every approved treatment. People told to prepare for death. Some come back healthy. Others run out of time. The treatment exists. The border exists. And the law separating an American patient from that treatment still exists too. Clinics across Europe, Latin America, and Asia still offer Laetrile today. Patient testimonies fill forums. People who say it gave them decades back. Others tried it and saw no change. No one fully knows the truth. The research that would settle it was never allowed. The FDA calls it worthless. Survivors say otherwise. The answer sits buried under 50 years of institutional silence. The dead cannot speak for themselves. Laetrile was one compound, one theory, one ban. But the next case is entirely different. Not a pill, a complete system. Diet, detoxification, cellular restoration. A protocol that claimed to reverse cancer entirely. It is called the Gerson Therapy, and the doctor behind it was erased even more thoroughly. Number 2. The Gerson Therapy. Dr. Max Gerson fled Nazi Germany and built a new life in New York City. He brought with him a therapy developed over decades, a treatment using diet, fresh juicing, and detoxification to restore the immune system's ability to fight disease. He published his results. He documented every case. Hundreds of patients credited him with saving their lives. Then in 1958, the American Medical Association moved against him. His hospital was raided. His records were seized. He died in 1959, worn down and broken. His therapy was banned in the United States. Today, it is available only in Mexico. The Gerson Therapy is a complete protocol. 13 glasses of fresh organic juice every day. A strictly plant-based diet. Coffee enemas for liver detoxification. Targeted nutritional supplements. Gerson believed cancer resulted from toxins overwhelming a weakened immune system. Remove the toxins. Flood the body with nutrients. Let the immune system do what it was built for. In 1958, he published a review of 50 terminal cancer patients. 40 were alive and healthy 5 years later. The medical establishment said nothing. In 2006, researchers at the University of California, San Diego reviewed Gerson's original patient records. Their findings were clear. The therapy showed genuine effectiveness for certain cancer types. Gerson was not a fraud. His results were real. The question was why his therapy had never been studied in the United States. The answer came down to one fact. You cannot patent a carrot. No pharmaceutical company funds research into vegetables. So research was never done. The therapy stayed buried. The Gerson Therapy was not rejected on science. It was removed deliberately. The AMA rejected it. The FDA outlawed it. Every institution closed ranks. The reason was not safety, it was control. Gerson Therapy is patient-driven, not prescription-driven. Patients manage it themselves. Doctors are not needed. That kind of medicine generates no revenue, and that made it a threat. After Gerson died, his daughter Charlotte opened a clinic just across the border in Mexico. The FDA issued formal warnings to Americans considering traveling there. The AMA called it quackery. But patients kept arriving, people sent home to die by American doctors. Some recovered. The government never argued the therapy was dangerous. Their position was simply that you could not have it. No alternative offered, just a closed door. The Gerson Therapy operates today at clinics in Mexico, Spain, and Hungary. Thousands of patients have used it. Some recover, others do not. No clinical trial has ever been conducted in the United States, not because it failed, but because no one funded it. There is no profit in vegetables. Evidence stays thin. The therapy stays unproven. Patients keep dying while waiting for research that will simply never arrive. Gerson used food. The next case used something far stranger. Not diet, frequency. Radio waves tuned to specific vibrations that could destroy cancer cells without touching healthy tissue. His name was Royal Rife, and the AMA erased him completely. Number 3. Rife's frequency generator. In 1934, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife conducted a trial that should have changed the course of medicine forever. 16 terminally ill cancer patients. 90 days. At the end of that period, 14 were completely cured. The remaining 2 recovered shortly after. Results were carefully documented. Witnesses signed sworn affidavits. A formal medical committee observed every step. Then the American Medical Association launched a campaign to destroy him. His laboratory was raided. His equipment was smashed. His research was confiscated. He died in 1971, broke and bitter, in a small clinic in Mexico. The machine that cured those patients was gone. Rife was not a fringe inventor. He built powerful optical microscopes capable of visualizing living viruses, something standard instruments of his era could not do. Through those lenses, he discovered that every microorganism has a mortal oscillatory rate, a precise frequency at which it destroys itself. He built a device that generated those exact frequencies using radio waves. Not radiation, not chemicals, no side effects, no pain. The target organism is destroyed. Healthy tissue is left completely alone. The 1934 trial was not conducted in secret. The University of Southern California appointed a formal committee of leading cancer specialists to oversee the entire process. They observed the recoveries directly. They signed sworn affidavits confirming exactly what they witnessed. Rife's machine worked, tested under direct supervision, and verified. Then the AMA applied pressure. Committee members recanted one by one. The affidavits disappeared. The records were destroyed. The verified evidence that cancer had been cured using frequencies was buried. Who destroyed Rife? The same institution that destroyed Gerson. The same one that buried Laetrile. Rife's machine threatened absolutely everything. If frequencies could eliminate cancer, no one would need chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery. An entire industry built around treating disease, not curing it, would completely collapse. So the lab was raided, equipment smashed, and the scientist permanently erased. Rife died in obscurity. His machine disappeared for decades. Then in the 1980s, researcher Barry Lines published a book documenting the full history. Others built replicas from his schematics. Today, Rife machines are sold online and assembled by people who have exhausted every approved option. Some report recoveries. Others see nothing. The medical establishment ignores it. The machine a university committee verified in 1934 still waits for a second look. Rife machines are classified as experimental devices. The FDA has not approved them. No clinical trial has been funded. The 1934 trial exists on record. The USC committee existed. The affidavits were signed. Whether Rife's machine works today, as it did then, is a question no authority has tried to answer. Not because evidence is lacking, but because the institution with power to investigate has simply refused to look. Rife used frequencies. The next case is far more recent, a penny-per-dose drug, approved for human use, deployed during a pandemic, then banned. Ivermectin. Number 4. Ivermectin, the hidden protocol. In 2020, while the world was locked down, a group of frontline doctors made a quiet discovery. A drug used for decades, cheap, generic, and widely available, appeared to be working against the virus. Its name was Ivermectin. It had treated parasitic infections in hundreds of millions of people since the 1970s. Studies from multiple countries showed it reducing hospitalizations and deaths. The doctors who said so publicly were called quacks. The studies were dismissed. Prescriptions were blocked. Social media deleted the information. The drug that cost pennies was buried. The question nobody in authority wanted asked: why? Ivermectin was discovered in the late 1970s. In 2015, its creators received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. During the pandemic, Dr. Pierre Corey and his team published a meta-analysis of 27 studies, finding ivermectin reduced mortality by 75%. The paper was peer-reviewed and published. Then pressure started. The study was attacked line by line. The journal retracted it. Dr. Corey was labeled a fraud. The drug was blocked from COVID protocols worldwide. The Nobel Prize meant nothing. While Western authorities blocked it, other countries were using ivermectin. India distributed it in hard-hit states. Peru ran a national protocol. Japan recommended it early. In each case, hospitalizations dropped. Deaths fell. Evidence accumulated from independent sources across multiple continents. The FDA did not recommend it. The WHO did not recommend it. Ivermectin is off patent. It costs pennies. No company profits from it. The vaccines generated billions. The system had a financial reason to pick a winner, and it did. Who suppressed ivermectin? The FDA. The WHO. The pharmaceutical companies that generated billions from emergency authorized vaccines. The same pattern that buried Laetrile. The same logic that erased Gerson. A cheap, unpatentable treatment appears. The establishment attacks the evidence. Doctors are discredited. The profits of the approved alternative are fully protected. The names always change. The method stays exactly the same. The suppression went further than anything before it. Pharmacies refused to fill legal prescriptions. Social media platforms deleted posts, removed doctor accounts, and flagged the word itself as misinformation. Medical boards threatened physicians with license revocation for prescribing it. This was not a regulatory disagreement. This was coordinated erasure, information actively hunted down and deleted in real time. And during that same window, people were dying in hospital corridors. Ivermectin is still available for parasitic infections. It is not recommended for COVID. Studies showing benefit have been retracted or dismissed. No large independent trial free of pharmaceutical funding has ever been run. The data to settle the question was never fully gathered. What remains certain is that the drug existed, the cost was negligible, and a decision was made not to use it. Who made that decision, and why? Ivermectin was buried during one pandemic. The next case ran for decades. Dr. Brzezinski and the antineoplastin treatment that took the FDA directly to court. Number 5. Brzezinski's antineoplastins. In the early 1970s, a biochemist named Stanislaw Brzezinski discovered that peptides naturally present in human blood appeared capable of fighting cancer. He called them antineoplastins and built a treatment around them. Patients who had already failed chemotherapy began arriving at his Houston clinic. Many of them recovered. The FDA took notice. In 1995, they raided the clinic, seized his records, and attempted to prosecute him. Brzezinski fought back. He sued. He won. The treatment was permitted to continue. But the harassment never stopped. Today, antineoplastins remain available only at his clinic, unapproved and out of reach for most. Antineoplastins are peptides found naturally in human blood and urine. Brzezinski described them as molecular switches, compounds capable of turning cancer genes off and activating tumor suppressor genes. His treatment is individualized, with each patient receiving a formulation tailored to their own genetic profile. Side effects are minimal. Patients with late-stage brain tumors and breast cancer have responded. The FDA calls it improving. Brzezinski calls the FDA approval process a wall deliberately placed in front of something that works. In the 2000s, Brzezinski released years of clinical trial data showing antineoplastins were effective against specific cancers, particularly pediatric brain tumors where conventional treatment had completely failed. The treatment worked. The FDA's own investigators reviewed the data and saw what it showed. The problem was not evidence. Antineoplastins are natural compounds that cannot be patented. No pharmaceutical company profits from producing them. So the FDA stalls. The approval process stretches across years. And patients exhaust every other option first. Who suppressed Brzezinski? The FDA, the same institution that buried Ivermectin and banned Laetrile. Antineoplastins threatened the chemotherapy industry directly. They prosecuted him and failed in court. But by stretching the approval process across decades, they reached the same result. Every year of delay is a year the treatment stays inaccessible. Every year, patients who might have lived did not. Antineoplastins are not banned. They are buried in bureaucracy. The FDA has not approved them. Insurance will not cover them. Patients must travel to Brzezinski's Houston clinic and pay out of pocket, costs reaching tens of thousands of dollars. This is the modern suppression. Not a raid, not an arrest. A wall of cost that only the wealthy can scale. The treatment exists. The results exist. Access does not. Brzezinski's clinic is still open. Patients are still recovering from cancers conventional medicine gave up on. The FDA has not approved antineoplastins after 4 decades. No pharmaceutical company has funded the trials that would force a decision. The question is whether approval comes before Brzezinski retires. When he is gone, who carries this forward? Whether anyone will be permitted to. Patients waiting for that answer are running out of time. Brzezinski fought the FDA and survived. The next doctor was not as fortunate. The co-cancer cure and the physician the AMA destroyed completely. Number 6. The co-cancer cure. In the 1920s, a Detroit physician named Dr. William Koch claimed to have developed a cancer treatment with a 90% success rate. He called his compound glyoxylide. He treated thousands of patients. Many were cured. His results were documented. Then the American Medical Association came for him. In 1941, Koch was arrested for mail fraud. His trial was a spectacle. AMA witnesses testified against a treatment they had never seen. He was convicted. His license was revoked. His clinic was shut. He fled to Brazil and worked there until his death in 1967. His treatment died with him. Dr. William Koch was not a fringe practitioner. He was a University of Michigan graduate who had studied at Harvard, Heidelberg, and the Sorbonne. His treatment was a single injection of glyoxylide, a compound he claimed could restore the body's natural ability to destroy cancer cells. No side effects, no painful protocol. One injection, cheap and simple. His patients included physicians, lawyers, and politicians. None of that protection mattered to the AMA. They had decided he needed to go. In 1946, while Koch was already ruined, a congressional committee examined his case. What they found was striking. The committee concluded that the AMA had actively conspired to suppress Koch's treatment, not dismissed it scientifically, but conspired to suppress it. They found the treatment had shown genuine effectiveness. Koch's reputation was gone. His practice was gone. His patients had scattered. The government confirmed a conspiracy against a working cure. Nobody was charged. Nobody punished. The AMA faced no consequences. Who destroyed Koch? The American Medical Association, the same institution that erased Rife and drove Gerson out. The AMA presents itself as a body devoted to medicine. What it functions as is a trade organization that protects members and eliminates competition. It has been doing this for over a century. Koch was not the first. He was not the last. The suppression of Koch's treatment was total. He was convicted in court. He was driven from the country. His formula was confiscated. His patients lost access overnight. The AMA deployed legal prosecution, professional defamation, and regulatory pressure simultaneously. Not one tool, but all of them, until nothing was left standing. Koch died in Brazil in 1967, working in obscurity. Whatever its true merits, the cure he developed was gone. Today, glyoxylide is a footnote. The original formula has never been replicated. No institution has tried to reconstruct it. The Congressional Committee said the treatment worked. The AMA called it fraud. Koch is dead. His records are gone. Whether glyoxylide cured cancer or whether Koch was mistaken, no one can say. The truth is buried with him. The question of what was lost will never have a clean answer. Koch's formula is lost forever, but the next treatment survived, still available, still in use. The Hoxsey formula, the herbal cure that outlasted everyone. Number 7, the Hoxsey formula. In the 1920s, a Texas horse breeder named Harry Hoxsey claimed to have developed a herbal formula capable of curing cancer. He was not a physician. He had no medical degree whatsoever, but his formula appeared to work. He opened clinics across the country. Thousands came. Many recovered. The AMA called him a quack, raided his clinics, and arrested him repeatedly. Hoxsey fought back and sued the AMA. He won, but the pressure never eased. In 1960, he relocated to Tijuana and opened a clinic there. That clinic is still operating today. In the United States, his formula remains illegal. The Hoxsey formula is a combination of herbs, red clover, burdock root, buckthorn bark, and several others, taken orally and also applied directly to the skin. Hoxsey claimed an 80% cure rate. The AMA called it worthless. In 1953, an independent panel of physicians reviewed his patient records. Their finding, 27% of his patients showed confirmed cures. That figure is higher than the documented cure rate for conventional chemotherapy at the time. The AMA ignored the review. In 1963, the U.S. government investigated the Hoxsey formula, testing it directly on 50 cancer patients. The results came back positive. Then the government buried them completely. The report was never publicly released. The formula was never approved. The pattern was identical to every case before it: natural compound, no patent, no pharmaceutical profit, no approval. The government had its own evidence showing the formula produced results. It filed that evidence away and said nothing. The formula stayed banned. Who suppressed Hoxie? The AMA, the FDA, the same forces that buried Coke and erased Rife. The Hoxie formula was herbal, cheap, and completely unpatentable. It threatened the cancer treatment industry at its very foundation. So it was banned. The patients who might have used it received chemotherapy instead. Many did not survive. The herbs remain illegal to this day. The Hoxie Clinic in Tijuana has been running since 1963. Thousands of American cancer patients travel there every year, people told by American doctors that nothing more can be done. The treatment costs a fraction of chemotherapy. Some patients return healthy. Others do not make it in time. The formula exists. The clinic exists. The border is the only barrier between an American cancer patient and access to it. The Hoxie formula has never been approved in the United States. The FDA has never tested it. The AMA still calls it quackery. The 1953 independent review found confirmed cures. The 1963 government investigation produced positive results that were never released. Evidence sits in files. Without a funded trial, it stays buried. The FDA has not funded one. The formula treats patients in Mexico while regulators look the other way. Hoxie used herbs. The next case used something in every grocery store. Vitamin C, and the man behind it had already won the Nobel Prize. Number 8. Vitamin C, high dose 4. Dr. Linus Pauling is the only person to win 2 unshared Nobel Prizes, one in chemistry, one for peace. He was the most decorated scientist of his generation, and not a man given to reckless claims. He believed high-dose intravenous vitamin C could cure cancer. In the 1970s, Pauling ran a clinical trial on terminal cancer patients. The treated group lived 4 times longer than the control group. Some were cured. He published the results. The medical establishment called him a fraud. Nobody replicated the trial. Pauling died in 1994, his findings dismissed. The FDA never approved the treatment. Vitamin C in high doses acts as a targeted oxidant, generating hydrogen peroxide inside cancer cells and destroying them while leaving healthy tissue completely unharmed. To reach therapeutic levels, it must be delivered intravenously, not taken as a pill. Pauling's trial used for delivery. Patients lived longer. Side effects were minimal. Results were published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. The medical establishment did not respond. It simply moved on as if nothing had been found. In 2005, researchers of the National Institutes of Health revisited Pauling's work. Their finding confirmed his core claim. High-dose 4 vitamin C kills cancer cells without damaging healthy ones. Pauling had been right all along. The question was why this remained outside standard cancer treatment 30 years on. The answer was the same as always. Vitamin C cannot be patented. No company profits from it. So no company funds the trials. Without trials, no approval. Without approval, no access. Who suppressed vitamin C therapy? The same forces behind every case on this list. Pharmaceutical companies have no reason to validate a treatment they cannot own. No profit means no research. No research means no approval. No approval means no access. A Nobel Prize winner published his findings. The institution found no revenue and looked away. Linus Pauling was not a desperate patient. He was the scientist who mapped the chemical bond and fundamentally changed modern chemistry forever. When a man with 2 Nobel Prizes publishes data showing patients living 4 times longer, dismissing it requires real institutional commitment. The establishment provided it readily. His work was attacked. His reputation questioned. His treatment never seriously studied. Cancer patients continued receiving chemotherapy instead of cheap vitamin. High-dose intravenous vitamin C is available at integrative clinics today. The NIH has published supporting research. The FDA has not approved it. Insurance will not cover it. Most oncologists will not recommend it. Pauling produced the evidence in the 1970s. The NIH confirmed it in 2005. The approval process has not moved. The mystery is not whether the evidence is there. The mystery is why it has never been enough. Vitamin C costs almost nothing. The next case is synthetic and costs almost nothing either. DCA, the compound that shrinks tumors and was buried. Number 9. DCA dichloroacetate. In 2007, Dr. Evangelos Michalakis at the University of Alberta published a study showing that a cheap, generic drug called dichloroacetate, DCA, could shrink tumors. The mechanism: DCA reactivates the mitochondria inside cancer cells, triggering a self-destruction sequence the cells had suppressed. The drug had been used safely for decades to treat a rare metabolic disorder. It cost pennies per dose. Michalakis published in the journal Cancer Cell. Headlines ran worldwide. Then nothing happened. No pharmaceutical company would fund trials. DCA was generic. No patent. No profit. The research stalled. Patients who might have been saved were not. Most cancer cells have switched off their mitochondria and run entirely on fermentation, a primitive pathway that helps them resist treatment. DCA reactivates those mitochondria. When respiration resumes inside a cancer cell, the cell reads its own damage signals and destroys itself. Healthy cells, which never switched off their mitochondria, are completely unaffected. Small clinical trials have shown promising results. The funding for larger trials has never arrived. No pharmaceutical company will invest in a molecule it cannot patent. In 2016, a team at the University of Texas published a follow-up study confirming DCA's effectiveness against specific cancer types. Evidence was building from independent groups across 2 continents. DCA worked. The science was not in dispute. What was missing was funding. Clinical trials cost millions. Pharmaceutical companies fund those trials in exchange for patent rights. DCA has no patent. It generates no exclusive revenue. So the trials were not funded. The drug that worked stayed off the approved list. Who suppressed DCA? No single agency issued a formal ban. DCA was suppressed by a system that rewards expensive treatments and has no mechanism to develop cheap ones. A drug costing pennies that cannot be patented will never complete the approval process without public funding. That funding was never provided. Patients who needed DCA received approved treatments instead. Many died. DCA is not illegal. You can buy it online, shipped in powder form from chemical suppliers. Thousands of cancer patients have done exactly that. But your doctor will not prescribe it. Your oncologist will not discuss it. Your insurance will not cover it. If you want DCA, you navigate alone, researching dosages from forum posts, ordering from overseas, monitoring your own blood work. The drug exists. The access does not. A quiet online community of cancer patients self-medicates with DCA. Some report tumor shrinkage. Some report full remission. Others see no benefit. Without controlled trials, no one can say what the true response rate is. The FDA has not funded the necessary trials. No pharmaceutical company has volunteered. DCA sits in permanent holding, too cheap to develop, too promising to ignore, available to anyone desperate enough to find it. 9 suppressed cures. 9 destroyed doctors. 1 pattern. Number 10 is not a cure. It is the system itself. And what you can do. Number 10. The grand medical conspiracy. We have covered 9 treatments. Laetrile, extracted from apricot pits, used in Mexican clinics, banned by the FDA. The Gerson Therapy, diet and detoxification, proven effective by a 2006 university review, available only in Mexico. Rife's frequency generator, verified by a USC medical committee in 1934, the records destroyed. Ivermectin, deployed by multiple countries during a global pandemic, censored off social media in real time. Brzezinski's antinioplastins, a man who sued the FDA and won, still waiting for approval after 4 decades. Coke's glyoxylide, confirmed effective by a congressional committee, the formula lost. The Hoxy formula, government tested in 1963, results buried, still operating in Tijuana. Pauling's vitamin C, confirmed by the NIH in 2005, still unapproved. DCA, published in a peer-reviewed journal in 2007, still unfunded. 9 treatments. 9 suppressions. The pattern is not a coincidence. It is a business model. None of this is theory. Every suppression on this list is documented clearly in the public record. The AMA used legal prosecution to destroy coke. The FDA obtained a federal injunction to block Laetrile. A congressional committee put the AMA's conspiracy against coke into the official public record. The NIH published research confirming Pauling's vitamin C findings and then did nothing with it. The FDA ran a clinical trial on Laetrile designed to fail. The AMA sent undercover investigators into Hoxie's clinics to build a case. The FDA raided Brzezinski's offices twice. Social media platforms coordinated the removal of Ivermectin information during an active public health emergency. These are not allegations. They are documented events with names, dates, and institutional signatures attached. The system supposed to protect your health has a century-long record of suppressing treatments that threaten its revenue. That record is available. You are reading it now. The suppression continues because the incentive has not changed. Chemotherapy generated over $200 billion in global revenue last year. Radiation oncology is a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure. Surgery is among the highest-billed procedures in every hospital system on Earth. A cheap, natural, unpatentable cure does not replace a single treatment. It threatens every one of them at the exact same time. The pharmaceutical companies understand this clearly. Hospital networks understand this. The insurance companies understand this fully. Every institution profiting from the current model of cancer treatment has a direct financial reason to ensure that model does not change. They do not need to coordinate behind closed doors or share a secret agenda. They simply need to follow their own financial incentives. And those incentives point towards suppression every single time without exception. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as the money requires it to work. The cures on this list are not waiting to be discovered. They have already been discovered. The research has been done. The patients who responded have been fully documented. What has not happened is the institutional decision to move that knowledge into standard care. That decision will not come from inside the system. It will come from enough people knowing the truth that the cost of continued suppression exceeds acknowledgement. Suppression works only in silence. It depends on the patients who died never knowing a treatment existed and was withheld. That silence is the only thing keeping this model intact. Today, Laetrile is still banned. Gerson is still only available in Mexico. Rice Machine is still classified as experimental. Ivermectin is still not recommended for COVID. Brzezinski is still fighting for approval after 40 years. Coke's formula is still lost. Hoxie is still in Tijuana. Pauling's protocol is still unapproved. DCA is still unfunded. Not one treatment has moved toward mainstream acceptance. The question is not whether the evidence exists. The question is whether enough people see it and refuse to accept that this is how medicine must work. The pressure for change has to start somewhere. It starts here. 9 treatments, 9 suppressions, 1 motive. The cures are real. The suppression is fully documented. You are not powerless. You can share this. You can ask your doctor about every single treatment on this list by name. The system changes when enough people stop accepting the answers they are given. We started with a young woman who crossed the border to save her own life and came back cancer-free. We end with a system that has spent a century ensuring that story stays the exception. In between, Laetrile banned, Gerson exiled, Rife destroyed, Ivermectin censored, Brzezinski harassed for 4 decades, Coke prosecuted and driven from the country, Hoxie pushed into Mexico, Pauling dismissed by the institutions that later confirmed his findings, DCA published and quietly ignored by everyone with money to take it further. 9 treatments, 9 suppressions, 1 motive. The cures are real. The science is documented. The suppression is not a theory, it is a track record. The only thing never applied to this problem is the will of the people it affects. That will is yours. The question is not whether the cures are real. The question is whether you have the courage to demand them. The tragedy is not that the cures were suppressed. The tragedy is that we accepted it. We trusted the system. We obeyed the FDA. We took the chemotherapy. We paid the bills. We watched our families die without asking whether something cheaper had been tested and buried. That passivity is the system's greatest resource. The cures exist. The knowledge is available. The barrier is the assumption that the institution knows best. That assumption has been killing people for a century. The suppression is ongoing. But you now know the pattern. You know the names, the institutions, the motive. You're no longer passive. You are a seeker, and seekers have a responsibility. Share this. Ask your doctor about these treatments by name. Demand answers. The system changes when silence breaks. Which of these 10 treatments would you most want made available to the world? And what would you do with the extra years? Leave your answer in the comments. I will pin the most thoughtful response at the top. Next time, the doctors who risked everything to heal their patients and exactly what the system did to them afterward. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Stay alive.